I'm Dante Hurd.
And I'm Jamie Hurd, and we're the owners of Aesthetic Beham. It warms my heart just to see how we're able to offer a space to other creatives here in Birmingham, knowing that we're creatives ourselves. And I can just think back, like when we first started shooting, like back in college, and we didn't have a space. We would just be around the city everywhere, shooting any and everybody anywhere. And that's because we didn't have a space. So being able to now have our own space and offer that to the other creators that are coming up, like, it's a huge blessing. Some of the main organizations that helped us greatly, one is definitely Create Birmingham. If you do not know Create Birmingham, look them up. But they're a local company here in Birmingham that helps startups. So they help you formulate your idea, help find you resources and things like that.
I think it's really a number of great resources here in Birmingham for people who are trying to start businesses and have ideas, and just do your research and just find all those resources, those organizations who are here to help and help you kind of mold and make your idea into what it needs to be. And just relationships is another big thing, kind of develop relationships with people. It's all about who you know sometimes, and just find those resources and kind of go from there.
So if you have any type of business idea that just has been on your mind or been on your spirit, just make sure you go ahead and do it. Go for it. Do not allow fear to stop you. Do not allow naysayers to stop you. Do not allow Joe and Jane that's next door that maybe is doing the same thing. Do it, because what God has for you, it is for you. There are so many resources that are available here in Birmingham that are here to help you. We're here to help you. Literally, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we can offer whatever guidance that we have. But please just go for it.
The city of Birmingham has resources and offices available to help you develop your ideas and start your business. So take advantage of those. Just go out there and follow your dreams.
My name is Tanae Dolphin, and I serve as the Director for the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity. Our office was created to recognize the mayor's vision and develop a thriving small business ecosystem that fosters the support of women and minority businesses. Birmingham has always exemplified the phrase, "Where there's a will, there's a way," and the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity is no exception. Our office has 3 strategies for accomplishing this feat. 1, filling the needs of the ecosystem, that business owners' needs are met and our progress thoroughly tracked. 2, improving government operations so that permitting, registration, and funding processes are more comprehensive and simpler. 3, finding purpose in place so that our businesses are recognized, celebrated, and elevated for the work they do and the community they bring. As a business owner, you are a part of a community whose connections to each other are what make us all thrive, even through difficult times like these. It is our job to connect you to the City of Birmingham's resources, tools, and strategies to fulfill Mayor Woodfin's vision. For minority and women-owned businesses, Birmingham is open for business. Thank you and enjoy your session.
Well, it is day 2 of Small Business Week. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Today, we are talking about collaboration, the importance of collaboration. And I just want to welcome you back for day 2 of Small Business Week. This is a week full of workshops, things to support the small business owner and the entrepreneur here in Birmingham. So we'll be here every day at 12 p.m. Tell a friend. I'm so excited. This is brought to you by the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity under the leadership of Tanae Dolphin. And we are serious about you, small business owners. We are serious about you, entrepreneurs. And that is why we have Small Business Week. So thank you for being here today. So like I said, we're talking about collaboration. And what I do know is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's what we're talking about today. Today, this is going to speak to the core value of success, which is collaboration, because I know sometimes as business owners and entrepreneurs, it can be hard to trust others with key responsibilities. But however, guys, collaboration is critical to your success. So we want to talk about that today. So before we get started, wherever you guys are, I need you to drop in your business name, your business, what you offer, because not only are we going to talk about collaboration, we're going to make sure we're actually collaborating. So make sure you drop those businesses down there. To help us kick off our collaboration workshop, we have two very amazing organizations. We have Blacklisted and Birmingham Biz Hub. So can I say good morning today to Elijah? Good morning today to Emily and Virginia. How are you guys doing today?
Doing fantastic.
Man, thank you guys. We got Carrie there. Hey, Carrie. We thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to talk about collaboration. But before we get into that and we hop into what your organizations do and how they help us as entrepreneurs to collaborate, let's watch a few videos that will also help us to deep dive into that.
Birmingham has a legacy of Black entrepreneurship that people don't even realize was nationally significant. We want to perpetuate that history. Entrepreneurship gave Black folks the freedom to live, move, and be. Fourth Avenue was a place Black folks could just be. We contributed to the growth of Birmingham. But now that Birmingham is on a new path, we have to ask, who gets to be Birmingham?
Awesome. So those videos, everybody out there, really helped us to understand more about Birmingham Biz Hub and more about Blacklisted. So again, thank you all for being here today, because we are going to dive into collaboration, what collaboration means for the entrepreneur, what it means for the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and I can't wait to dig into this. So Elijah, could you share with us a little bit more about the purpose of Blacklisted, the mission, how it became to be all of the things when it comes to Blacklisted?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I'm so excited for the invitation. And first of all, collaboration is important because you all have brought the sophistication to live streams. But Be Birmingham is a program of Urban Impact. Urban Impact is the community economic development agency for the Civil Rights and Fourth Avenue Business District, Birmingham's original Black Wall Street. And as we really began to think about how we're going to impact the 56 Black-owned businesses here that are still here, how we're going to continue to impact the city, we really began to think about Be Birmingham. This notion that who gets to be Birmingham as the city is changing and making sure that we're inclusive of everyone in the city, particularly that legacy of Black entrepreneurship that we're inspired by on 4th Avenue. And so that's why we say building entrepreneurs, building economies. And so it starts as an entrepreneurship support and business management sort of curriculum, but we really got to thinking as we looked at other places and hearing from entrepreneurs, we wanted to hear and understand what's truly needed. We can build strong Black, women, and minority-owned businesses, but the consumers have to know who and where they are, and then businesses have to be able to connect each other. And that's really the purpose of Blacklisted, an open source entrepreneurial directory of nonprofits that's searchable, mappable, and flexible. And so this is not meant to sort of obstruct any other work, but it's really to complement. And basically what we've done using fantastic Airtable, you can search, like you say, you want to look at a doctor, that will pop up in the tags. We've got a map that connects to Google Maps, and it's flexible. It updates instantaneously, and it's flexible in the sense that we can add a whole bunch of information to it. Right now, we have 320 businesses, 60 something nonprofits, and we've got 200 more identified, much to the great work of my co-collaborator and co-creator, Carrie Freeman, who you'll hear from a little bit later. So that's Be Birmingham, Urban Impact and Blacklisted in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. So Emily and Virginia, can you tell us a little bit more about BizHub, about what you all do, the mission, the purpose, and how it is helping to bring about collaboration among entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Thanks, Alicia, for having us. And just to, okay, looks like I'm unmuted. Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining. And thanks to Alicia, Torian, and the city for hosting Small Business Week. Just to echo what Elijah said, have been so impressed by their work. I joke about having intro music on other Zoom meetings that I've been in with folks, and this is the first Zoom meeting where StreamYard meeting where that's happened. So BHM BizHub, we started last year on a mission to try to figure out how to connect entrepreneurs, both small businesses and startups alike, to resources in the community. What we're trying to do is drive business growth and resilience through the power of connections. Our lead organization, Birmingham Business Alliance, is working with our partners and working group, Alabama Capital Network, UAB, and Innovation Depot within our core team. And then we have folks like Elijah, who serve on our advisory council, and we're working to collaborate with various organizations. What we heard last year was simply this: you're an entrepreneur and time is your most valuable resource. We don't want you to waste it, so we want to be a resource for you and help you find resources the smart way. We want to amplify the work and the message of things that are done, like BBHAM and Blacklisted. We're not attempting to duplicate what others are doing. We want to amplify their work and try to get you connected to the resources you need to succeed. As we look ahead, what we've done during COVID-19 is our BBA team at the Birmingham Business Alliance has created a resource page. The BizHub has been driving traffic to that page, and we've had over 4,200 unique visitors. We're working to build out BizHub 2.0 with our partners at EcoMap Technologies, which we'll be working to build out in the coming weeks and launch in the fall. And just this week, we launched the BHAM Biz Buzz, our weekly guide to startup and small businesses in the region. So please go to our website, bhambizhub.com, to join our subscriber list. We promise not to spam you, and we'll drop some quality content into your inbox each Monday. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Emily, for that. So like I said earlier, today, really this workshop is designed to help raise entrepreneurs' confidence about working with others, right? And so we want to ensure that inside of Birmingham, in entrepreneurship in general, that people are able to make functional connections and collaborations and engagement. And it helps us as a community to really build our entrepreneurial hub. So we're going to jump into some questions. But listen, everybody, I want you all to put your comments, put your questions in there, because we're going to be interacting. We're going to be asking questions because we have the resources right here in front of us on live. And so we want to make sure that we're asking those things and getting down to business. So really quickly, the first thing I want to poll the audience on is if you guys can drop in the chat, what does not exist here in Birmingham that you feel is necessary, and what support would you like to see as an entrepreneur? So I'm gonna say that again. What doesn't exist here in Birmingham, and what support would you like to see as an entrepreneur? Drop those in there, and we are going to answer those questions live. So as we're waiting on that, we're going to go ahead and get started. And this is just a question for everyone here. why is collaboration important? It sounds like a simple question, but I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, it can be missed on us, the importance of collaboration. So can you guys just share a little bit about why you think collaboration is important?
I'll jump in. We're all being too nice. So I think that three things come to mind: capacity, impact, and scale. At the Biz Hub, as you've seen, that video, I don't know how to make a video, but Raheem at Dream Studios does, and he was so willing to partner with us to make that video. There's so many entities from a nonprofit perspective. We only have so many resources to help serve small businesses and startups. So if we don't work together, we can't serve you as we best need to. And then on the startup small business side, working with other businesses in your community, cross-promoting, referring to others, so much opportunity to bring each other business through that.
Awesome. Anybody else share with us, guys? What do you feel like? Why do you feel like collaboration is important?
I really responded to the quote, Alicia, that you opened today's conversation with. If you're going to go, well, now I'm going to get in trouble. If you're going to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I think we all have experienced, both working on putting the Biz Hub together, and then in my role at Innovation Depot, Emily's role at DBA, Elijah and Carrie at Urban Impact, that when people work together, officially, unofficially, not only do their businesses grow, but the city grows. And so that sense of community and collaboration is so important in order for Birmingham businesses to go far and the city of Birmingham to go far.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I agree with both of those things. And I would say, for me, it's a part of our roots. We're in a district where in the 1920s, the Prince Hall Masons and the community built a 7-story building with the first Black architect and the first, one of the first Black contractors, major contractors in the South in the 1920s, and 10 million of today's dollars, right? So better together is so important, because when you talk about an ecosystem in biology, it's a system of synergistic and interrelated things. And as a business, you can't go far without planning and zoning. Without a city, you can't go far without a revenue base. As a business, you can't be fully excellent without at least using someone else from a business to business relationship, just as we see today. I mean, if you would have just asked service providers, we would have had a PowerPoint and a Zoom, right? But we have StreamYard with the logo. And so that's just important.
Awesome. Carrie, did you have anything you want to add? I want to make sure I don't miss you, girl. You got something?
This is just like something that I'm taking from like our Be Birmingham class that's a part of Urban Impact. A lot of them didn't know, and this is just like to start the entrepreneur process, but I think it carries over into everything, like whether you're just getting started or you already have your business, you already have your LLC. A lot of people do not know what steps to take. They don't know what is out there that could help them. So collaboration is important. Like, say for instance, you need a website, but you don't know who to reach out to. You won't know unless you ask someone. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's just like whatever steps that you need is somebody out there that can provide that for you. You have to get out there and ask. You have to talk to someone to find it.
Awesome. Okay, I think that's really helpful, Carrie, because it kind of helps us to segue a little bit. And so to your point, that is exactly why we have people like Birmingham Biz Hub and Blacklisted, right? Because they are pulling those resources together, everyone out there, to help you find it in a more formalized way. So when you get an opportunity, don't log off of this live stream, but when you get an opportunity, go on BMBizHub.com, go on Blacklisted, because to your point, Carrie, you can find people who create websites, you can find doctors, you can find all different types of things that you need. Their goal is to take all these different resources and put them in a formalized place. So before I go on to the next question for you all, there were a few things that were dropped in the chat, and people were saying like, hey, we need an easier way to know how to go about creating our LLC, how to get those licenses. And so Candace and a few other people who asked questions out there That's great, because that is exactly what the Office of Business Diversity and Opportunity is doing, right? They're helping to make those processes easier, how to go about getting your licenses and things of that nature. So that's why I'm glad you guys are tuned into Small Business Week, because I don't want it to be missed on you that there are resources out there departments out there, and there are people really, really championing and rooting for small business owners. Okay, so let's go to this next question. So what challenges do you see, right? So we talked about why it's important, right? It's important so that you know where to go. It's important because it helps you to connect your business to other people. But what are the challenges that you all see when it comes to collaboration amongst entrepreneurs? And I have some, but I'm gonna let y'all go first.
I think, it's finding that common objective. And again, for partnerships to be impactful, 1 + 1 has to equal 3 or more. It can't equal 2. So I think, sorry to throw in some math there, but I think finding what those common objectives are, however big or small, finding the right partners within the community to work with to amplify the value you're adding back to your customers if you're a small business, and to nonprofits like us, to our customers, which are you.
Awesome. Anybody else? What are the challenges that you all see when it comes to collaboration?
I think one of the main challenges that kind of sparked the BizHub project is, and I've seen it kind of pop up in the chat a little bit, Birmingham has an abundance of resources, but they haven't been centralized, and it's been difficult to sift through the information to figure out who you should go to based on the business that you're starting, the stage that it's in, and the sort of assistance that you're looking for. And so for the BizHub, that was our goal, was to try and eliminate that challenge and save that valuable time. But I think that that's an ongoing process for us as we continue to build it out so that it is the most user-friendly for entrepreneurs as well as resource providers.
No, I would absolutely agree with Virginia and Emily's comments. I think that information is just key in the centralization. And sometimes the information has been centralized. It's just been on a piece of paper. And we know that like everything starts with a Google search. So I'm glad that we have the focus now around sort of these digital sort of repositories, if you will. And, part of the reason why we named it Blacklisted is a little bit tongue in cheek, because typically the economy of Black folks has almost been shut out, right? And we're changing that to say, no, we're included and highlighted, right? And so, and I think that, part of that challenge, and I would also say that part of the challenge is that we're a small city, a medium-sized city, but we're very large in terms of character. We're very large in terms of neighborhoods. And so when you just think about, everyone from Falls Janitorial all the way to Eastlake, I mean, that's a lot of ground to cover, right? And so what are those spaces? We see one of the biggest challenges I see is that there are not sort of these spaces whereby entrepreneurs really gather and exchange. One of the challenges that has happened just because that the city has not had a whole bunch of population until very recently is that one of those traditional spaces end up being merchant association, things of that nature. And out of the 20 plus commercial districts of just brick and mortars, we probably don't have 20 plus very active merchants associations and things of that nature. And so that's just one example that sort of prohibits some of that natural exchange.
That's really good. I'm sorry, Carrie, were you gonna say something? I want to make sure I don't jump over you.
Oh no, I was just reading like in the comments. I had the comments up too. Mm-hmm. And I like how Elijah said, like, between this area and this area, you don't have a common ground between both. What I've noticed, like some challenges, you have people like me who don't talk much. They don't know what questions to ask, or they're too afraid that their questions are going to get overlooked. Like, oh, that's just a simple question. But if it's coming from a person who does not know, I mean, every chance that you get to educate somebody, is helping feed this ecosystem. People are looking for help, and they're not on the same level that you're on, that you have to explain it. And it might seem pointless to you, but it's very like important to them. some people are just shy. That's the best way to say it.
That's great. I think that one of the things that I really want to pull out of that for everyone to really ponder on is knowing what questions to ask, right? So that's really, really good. I think as entrepreneurs, and when it comes to collaboration, knowing what questions to ask, because I know for me personally, I do not prefer networking events, right? Because you're in a room with all these people, you like, oh Lord, I don't know who's you. Hey, my name is, right? And so it could be really weird. You don't know what questions to ask. So that's very key. So understanding what questions to ask, but then also one thing that you really pulled out, Elijah, as well, is needing more spaces for collaboration, spaces for exchange. And so I think as a city, as we're moving forward toward having more of that, we have a few places, few things in place, but as we're moving toward that, entrepreneurs, as you're listening out there, you can create your own spaces, right? We can gather. So as you're going on Blacklisted, as you're going on BizHub, and you're connecting with entrepreneurs, you can begin to create different spaces for you all to collaborate, since that is something that seems to be a gap. And I think that's one of the things that we really want to hone in on is what are the gaps? What's keeping us from collaborating? And so that helps me to kind of to segue into one of the other things I wanted to ask and talk about. And so you guys, your comments are great out there. So please keep them coming because it's helping us to understand. So let me ask you this. So what is the importance of collaboration when it comes to Birmingham moving forward as an entrepreneurial hub? Which is a whole other question, right? Because we can talk about collaboration from a high level vantage point when we're talking about in general what collaboration looks like. But when it comes to Birmingham moving forward, why is it important for collaboration? Because I know one of the things we all had an opportunity to talk through is that sometimes we lose talent to other cities, right? Because people don't realize that there are resources, or they're not connecting, or they're not collaborating. And so for Birmingham to continue to move forward and to be an entrepreneurial hub, which it will be, why is it important for collaboration when it comes to Birmingham?
I think that's a great question, Alicia. I think, Birmingham's history, and we're still healing from what happened in the 1960s. And we've just seen over the past few weeks with the Black Lives Matter movement, things that we need to tackle in our city in order to be an inclusive entrepreneurial hub. So this can't just be, only some spaces like the Depot or, other locations downtown or where entrepreneurs are. I think we have to create a space in a Birmingham where everyone feels like they can thrive. And I think it's our jobs and the spaces that we're in to be, both approachable, but also know, like, while we offer these digital tools, CS has a resource, and I'm probably never going to be the person who's directly providing a service to small businesses, but I really know and have a good sense of who would be a good fit. So feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to my colleagues. We have this tool on the website, but I really enjoy getting to talk and know about small businesses and what their barriers are, where they want to go, and trying to figure out who is the best. Is it Taylor Clark at Rev? Is it Elijah at Urban Impact? Is it Jeremy Duckworth in the Western communities? Who do I need to connect this person with so that they can be set up for success? And what I think we're starting to do a much better job of now is putting a project team around companies so that we can really lift them up, whether that's Victor Brown at BBA on my team. And so I don't want to go over that, but I think it's creating an inclusive economy where all businesses can thrive.
Okay, y'all jump in. Elijah, I feel you. I feel you getting ready to say something. Is that true, Elijah? You got something to say? Share with us, brother. You're on mute.
Oh man, because I just opened up. I said the South always has something to say. Emily, absolutely. I would say, optimization, right? If you look at other cities and metros our size, we are behind in collaboration regionally. It's getting better in the past few years, but we're just behind. We're behind in terms of social infrastructure. It's getting better, right? And so that's why I'm really excited about, BizHub project. When they first, brought me into the room and showed us the spreadsheet of 150 plus folks, I'm like, okay, this is fantastic. As a service provider, you've just equipped me. But I think it's super important, is also, just as I'm seeing in the comments, collaboration is important because we will not strive and go forward as a city without it. One of the things that I look at is that we do a lot of discussions about going other places, and that's cool. I want people to go where they can flourish. But part of the platform of Be Birmingham is really to say we don't have to be Atlanta, we don't have to be Chattanooga. We can be Birmingham, right? We can build our economies, we can build our entrepreneurs. When you think about in the wake of sort of the uprisings, part of one of the rappers, Killer Mike's speeches, as he addressed, was talking about 50 Black-owned restaurants by sisters, right? Black women own, and I'm saying that is fantastic. But guess what? We also have, like, on Blacklist right now, I mean, we have 50 plus Black-owned restaurants, and we have majority of them being sisters, right? We have a Black business district that is owned mostly by Black people, and we have 56 Black-owned businesses. We have, just as you saw in the opening, the herds with aesthetic, and so for those seeking to rebuild the notion of Black Wall Street and prosperity and shared prosperity, we're actually well positioned to do that. But we won't be well positioned to do that if we do not fix our social infrastructures, if we don't fix the networks of collaboration to make sure that they're inclusive, and that if service providers just quite frankly don't up their game, which we are trying to do, in better services and more creative services. We are at a golden opportunity. We're at a pivot point in the city, and what we do now in these next 1 to 2 years will decide if we will be at this cycle again. So collaboration is extremely important.
Man, that is so good. Okay, so listen, y'all know what I like to do. I like to listen and pull out the gems. Okay, y'all were dropping gems this morning. So this afternoon. So let me pull out a few things that I heard here. Okay, so when you talked about, Elijah, just kind of our perception of other cities, neighboring cities around us, but really understanding the gems that we have in the city of Birmingham. So it sounds like it's a perception thing. I think when it comes to collaboration, you may think, well, no one is collaborating. There are no places to collaborate. So as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, one thing I want to challenge us on is our perception of the city that we are in, that there are things, there are resources, that people do have a shared interest in moving Birmingham forward in terms of entrepreneurship and in terms of small businesses. But another thing that you really touched on, Elijah, also is our services. So listen up, entrepreneurs. We have to make sure, we talked about yesterday about innovation. We have to make sure that we are upping our game when it comes to our services, how we're providing those services, what we're doing, what they look like. And that's why collaboration is important, because you may say, hey, I'm getting ready to start my cupcake business. I need a website, and it don't look good, okay? But you get on Blacklist and you get on Birmingham Biz Hub, you can find people who this is their thing, right? They are into building websites. They can figure out how to build the app. So collaboration also helps to up and to increase the experience that you are able to offer as an entrepreneur, because one of the things that I think happens is that we feel that we have to do it all alone. We have to do it by ourselves. We can't trust other people when it comes to our baby, when it comes to our business. But one of the things that I really, really want us to understand today is that collaboration, it is absolutely essential to your success, because you cannot do it alone. And as a city, the more we collaborate, the further we can go. So what do you guys think about that? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And it's been exciting for me to read through a lot of the comments that are coming up in the chat. So I work for Innovation Depot. So while my organization is predominantly focused on kind of scalable tech businesses, we have a new CEO. We've been talking about new programming, and some of the main things that we've really been trying to think about how we can facilitate in a post-COVID, hopefully, world where we have people back in the building and have events, is creating some of those spaces where people are out of their offices, and we're kind of trying to remove the silos and allow for collaboration in a informal and formal capacity. And it's been really exciting. We've had some companies that are not tech businesses who are looking to make their website better come in and ask questions, and we've been able to connect them with those resources. So for me and my day job at the Depot, it's been really, kind of exciting to see that the people who are here today are looking for some of the things that we're working on creating more of, and that the Biz Hub is focused on creating more of, and that BBA and Urban Impact. And, it's exciting that we're seeing that reflected in what the entrepreneurial community wants.
Awesome. So one thing I want to touch on before we move on is this is a really good just perspective. So we have Charlize. She's saying that there is also a level of competition that she feels like impacts collaboration. And so I want to touch on that because that's something that I've actually heard several times in different conversations in different circles when it comes to entrepreneurship here, when it comes to collaboration, that there is not enough of the pie. Right. So to your point, I know one of the things that came up was like, hey, we're a small city, but we're also a big city. So if you guys can you address why we have to break down that barrier of competition being an issue for collaboration? Because I think people have the mentality that, hey, there may not be, because of the size of our city, right? There may not be enough for everyone. So if I collaborate with you, are you going to steal my idea? If I collaborate with you, will you really support me? If you guys have any thoughts around that, the importance of breaking down the barrier of the thought of competition when it comes to functional collaboration.
I think I love the pie expression, and one of my friends who uses this phrase, people either have a scarcity mindset or they have an abundance mindset. So I think having a mindset as a collective community that we're not splitting a pie and each other taking different pieces, but we're making the pie bigger for everyone is a mindset that we have to all have in order to make Birmingham grow and to be the best Birmingham we can be.
Awesome. I'm trying to feel everybody. I feel like, Carrie, was that you? Did I feel you, Carrie? I felt you. That I'm correct. Go ahead, Carrie. Share your thoughts on just the importance of breaking down that barrier of competition when it comes to collaboration. What are your thoughts around that?
I just think you're not all going to have the same exact thing. It's going to be something that makes yours stand out compared to someone else's. You shouldn't be afraid that someone's going to steal your idea per se, because what you're good at, like for instance, if you make food, we, like Elijah said, we have like 50 restaurants on our blacklisted directory, and several of them are wing places, but this place has a different kind of wings than this one. People prefer to go to this one than this one. I mean, it's basically what people want and what makes you stand out.
Good. I think we have a little amen corner. Someone saying that is a whole word, Emily. Either you have a scarcity or you have an abundance mindset. And that is so true. Thank you, Carrie. And thank you, Emily, for sharing that. I want to make sure, because I think as we're talking about collaboration, it's easy to share about the resources and things of that nature, but there also is a mindset as a small business community that we have to break down in order to ensure that collaboration takes place. Because in our conversation earlier about why it's important for Birmingham to have collaboration to move forward, we understand that there also is a mindset associated to collaboration. So in this chat, I want you guys to drop a few just thoughts and comments around, do you feel like you have enough time to think or to innovate and grow your business? So that's a yes or a no. And I want you also in the chat for you guys to tell me, what do you feel like is a barrier to collaboration? And do you feel like you can trust others when it comes to collaboration? Because like I said, I think today there are some people saying, hey, I didn't even know Biz Hub existed. I didn't know Blacklisted existed. And so now today I have a resource that I can take, that I can utilize. But then once you start scrolling through and you find those people, are you actually going to move forward on it? Do you feel like you can trust people? So let's dig down on this right here also, team. When it comes to collaboration, we're talking about, do people have enough time to innovate and to grow their business? Do you see the importance of collaboration when it comes to people actually being able to innovate their business, right? So share me your thoughts around that as far as the importance of connecting collaboration to buying back your time and the importance of that as well.
I think that for me and what I've seen is that, when you are an entrepreneur, you eat, sleep, and breathe your company. It doesn't matter what industry you're in or what stage you're in. It is kind of all consuming, which can be a good thing, but it also means that like you are so bogged down in the minutia that sometimes it's important to talk to other people and get a different perspective, because otherwise you may not have even realized that something's sitting right in front of you, or that people out there see your idea in a different way than you do. And so I think that it is so critical for any organization, for any company, to have somebody, some organization, another person that they trust to be able to talk to, so that you can get out of your own head and move your business forward. I think that's critically important for everybody. And for us, like, the BizHub is not one person, it's not one organization. We have talked to as many people as we can possibly find, resource providers, entrepreneurs. And I think that that's been huge for, I won't speak for Emily, but I will a little bit. I think it's been huge for both of us personally and professionally, because we've gotten to know the ecosystem in a much better way. And that has been able to help me do my job better. It's helped me know people in town to connect other people to. And it's been a game changer, I think, in that sense for us. And I would say the same would be true for entrepreneurs as well.
I think to add to that, Virginia, so the BBA, we actually have for our member companies a few entrepreneurial roundtables. And it's an opportunity for small to mid-sized businesses to, on a regular monthly basis, they organize themselves. So we offer the venue, which is right now virtual, and we convene a group of small business owners that all have different businesses. So they're all coming from the position of an owner, but it's not usually in the competing space. And there's a lot of really innovative things and ideas that they really get out of that experience. And I think what I would ask everyone listening is, for all of us on the call, we are here to serve you. So again, I just let us know how we can create forums and what types of forums those should be, so that you can get into a space, whether that's physical or whether that's virtual right now, to where you can take time to innovate and you're able to figure out things that you can do with your business.
And that's absolutely, I definitely agree with that. I'll give a quick anecdote. I have a good friend of mine. He's a musician and had embarked upon sort of a full-time sort of grind. And, the cat was, booking stuff off Facebook, trying to prepare a set, trying to carry in 50-pound amps. And I said, man, let's chill out. I got your amp, right? And he actually ended up sort of signing on with agent, just a booking agent. He didn't release control, and he got booked at festivals, right? Mm-hmm. As entrepreneurs and business owners, typically we have one sort of skill set and we can focus on that. But we do want to make sure that we have credible places. And then we also have to know that, to, I believe, Jennifer's comment that just came up, finances are a barrier. Sometimes you can't go and get exactly what you want, but look at what you can do at that level. Get that minimum, get that MVP out, and then grow with that person, because as you begin to collaborate, as your revenues and their revenues grow, people remember and begin those sort of relationships. I think as economic developers here on the call, I echo what Emily and Virginia said, and we are here to better serve you. I'm glad that we have sort of embarked upon a different sort of strategy, but our primary goal is to make the conditions of doing business easier for you. Right. And I know a lot of times we don't know what economic developers do. It's a lot of stuff, but primarily it's making it easier for you to do business. Right. Because when your business is thriving, Birmingham can be its best self. You can employ folks. You can give us a unique sense of place. And that's the reason why we appreciate the opportunity to hear from you and hopefully provide better services.
I want to add really quickly, I saw Jennifer's comment come up about finances, and that this is a question that the BizHub team has wrestled with. throughout our project. But I just want to mention that right now, the resources that we highlight on the Biz Hub are specifically organizations who, at the core of their mission, it is to help small businesses or startups grow. And so they either offer their services for a fee or have a sliding scale, or for free, or have a sliding scale of their fee to address the stage of the business that they're helping. So that is something that we have been trying to keep in mind as we pull together resources for that site.
Okay, that was great, Virginia. So, and that's something that I didn't even know. So, I also was today years old when I learned about that. So, I think that that's good. I think that that's good. That there is, along with Biz Hub being a resource and Blacklisted being a resource, that the collaborators that are part of that list, they are in support of small businesses, right? So they want to see you win. So don't feel like you cannot collaborate or you can't bring other people on and support you because of a lack of finances, right? Because I think on every level, entrepreneurs all have a need. So I know some of the things going on in the chat, people were saying, hey, you can kind of barter those services, etc. But also you have a Biz Hub, you have a Blacklisted who these providers know, like, hey, now this isn't for free, right? My services aren't necessarily all the way for free because everybody has something they need to do to get their business going when it comes to finances. However, though, at the core of my business, I am committed to your success and you winning. So it's easier now to approach those people. So guys, these are some great resources. And I think just this conversation today and what Biz Hub is doing and what Blacklisted is doing is a great representation of what collaboration looks like. I think that is we're in a good space and we're in a great start. And so you guys, make sure you get on Biz Hub, make sure you get on Blacklisted because they have pulled together these resources to support and to help you. And so let me jump back in here. Let me see if we have some more things. Okay, so we have a question here. So it says, if you had a bad experience collaborating, how do you overcome that and jump back into it? So some people have been burnt when it comes to collaboration, right? So how would you guys recommend somebody jumping back into collaborating when they kind of feel like, well, you know what, maybe I should just do this thing all on my own. I'm smart enough. I'm committed enough. I'm dedicated enough. I could just figure this out on my own because I've been burnt. How would you guys address that?
I think you just have to have a foundation of trust. I think any collaboration or partnership, it requires that you take time to build that relationship and you take time to figure out, is this a person or is this an organization I want to do business with? Are they a person or an organization of integrity? What is their work ethic? I think those are all things you have to evaluate before you embark on in a relationship with another organization or company.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything on that? Because that's a tough one. Because I think that
I would say research.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I would say research the person or the business that you're collaborating with and see if you have the same like goals and like same level of integrity. Because sometimes you be like, oh, you see red flags before you jump into stuff. And once you see one red flag, I won't recommend it. But research is very important.
I would echo Carrie. Research is important. And then I would also layer into that, when you have an initial conversation, and this touches a little bit on Candace's question, but not directly, you can keep information hypothetical. And I would say that, if you have an initial conversation before you go all in and you pull out your, bookkeeping and your spreadsheets, you can kind of have an initial conversation. Carrie's right. You'll sense the red flags. You'll figure out who it is. I also think that this is where Birmingham's community comes into play because, through word of mouth, because we're a relatively small city, you can say, hey, have you guys worked with Emily at BBA? And it's like, yeah, she's great. Elijah, all in on him. Carrie, Alicia, thumbs up. StreamYard, thumbs up. Everybody here. But, you can kind of go in increments before you kind of bare your soul at the core of your business.
No, I agree with all that's been said, and I just try to keep in mind, statistically, everyone cannot be horrible, right? And so I try to look at things in a vacuum and understand, just like Carrie and others said, where our goals align, was the communication on point, because a lot of times I heard it said, and I wish I could quote exactly who said it, but disappointment comes from misunderstood expectations, right? And so that's super important. I think as service providers, we have a mandate to make sure we figure it out, right? And this is something that we just have to be real with. You know, we are, as you can probably see, we probably have not been in the economic development field for 40 years. And so sometimes when we come into these positions, we're dealing with, you know, oh, this and that. And it's like, okay, but what about today, right? Can we do something together today? And if we can't, can we at least keep the lines of communication? I think to answer Candace's question, I think it is important to have like an internal strategic plan of how and the opportunities for collaboration from a vendor perspective. And then also just from another perspective, like if you say, oh, I need someone to do my website, you know, what resources are associated with that? What is that? But if you are looking to almost do like a joint venture, then that's going to take a little bit more. You know, you want to make sure you have the non-disclosure agreements. You want to make sure that you have done the research, as everyone is stressed, to make sure that you give yourself those protective measures. And for those folks that may not understand or feel that, then that may not be, your goals may not be aligned. It may not be bad. They just may not be at that level quite yet. So the service provider and the business owner view, that's what I would say.
That's great. So let me pull a few things out that I heard. So at the core of it, one of the things I want to touch on is kind of having to break down the barrier of fear. If you have collaborated with someone and it didn't work out, don't allow that bad experience to stop you from moving forward in collaboration, right? Because that can actually hinder your business success. So you can't afford not to collaborate. So let's start there. So the key is, to your point, Carrie, and to your point, Emily, is to do your research, to ask questions, to your point, Virginia, to utilize the community that you have around you, to kind of do some grassroots figuring out, is this person who you need to work with? But we cannot allow fear and bad experiences to stop us from collaborating, because the point of today is to make sure and to encourage you that collaboration is key to your success. And so there was one thing I wanted to pull out. It kind of piggybacked off of this. Someone saying, well, how do you recover as a bad collaborator? What if I'm the person that was a bad collaborator? Right? How can I recover? And so I have my thoughts, but I want to let you guys jump in there. And then we have one other question that we'll address. Does anybody have anything on that? How do you recover?
Yeah, I really liked what Elijah said about sometimes there is not an alignment of expectation. And I hear this all the time where, you know, a company met with somebody or some organization and they felt like it was a really great conversation and X, Y, and Z was in their minds promised, and then it didn't happen. And so I think that if you are, especially if you are the one being engaged as a collaborator, somebody is coming to you for advice or for perspective, both parties to be really clear about, is this just a conversation? Are there kind of set expectations and set tasks that will be done after the conversation? Is there a timeline for that? And just being really open and communicative about that, because I think that's where things get tricky and people feel like they didn't have a good experience.
I would agree with that, Virginia. And Reggie, his comment from yesterday, one of our speakers, him and Brittany, the dynamic duo, are killing it with the questions over here. So he was just like, suggest that you be genuine. And I think that his idea around referring each other, whether you're a business or you're not in the nonprofit space, I think, you know, establishing that relationship of trust, but start off by referring each other business, to Reggie's point. And that starts to build upon that trust to see, you know, is there an opportunity for us to work even more? And maybe it should just stay at a referral stage, but maybe not. Because the more you refer back and forth, you start to see those overlapping objectives and how you could better work together.
That's awesome. Were you going to say something, Elijah? Nope. Okay, cool. So another thing I want to pull out of that, to Danielle asked a question earlier just about how do you approach people when wanting to collaborate. And one of the things that came out of what everyone was saying is just knowing what you want. When you're getting ready to approach someone for collaboration, know exactly what it is that you want, know exactly what your goals are. And to everyone's point, make sure that whoever you're collaborating with, that your goals align, that you guys have clear expectations and that along the way, you clearly communicate those expectations so that we can kind of fix all of the fear around collaboration. So knowing what you want, so when you're getting ready to approach a collaborator, have your plan. This is what I'm looking for. This is my project. These are my goals. Are they in alignment with yours? If we can barter for those services, right, then we can do that. If I have to pay you, all right, well, then at least when I'm getting ready to utilize funds that I have, there's a clear communication of what our expectations are. So collaboration is not scary, guys. It's not a big monster. And if you feel like it is, we have to tackle it, because it is time for us as an entrepreneurial community to come together, to collaborate, to not only help move this entrepreneurial hub together, but to move Birmingham forward when it comes to being a hub for entrepreneurs. So this has been some great conversation. So we're getting ready to wrap up. So if you guys out there have any more questions, any more thoughts that you wanted to share around collaboration, please go ahead and drop them in the chat so we can get to them, because we are here to serve you, right? So this is not something where we're just talking at you, we're talking with you. So we want to make sure that we answer those questions around that, because I feel though, as an entrepreneur, if you had just a few extra hours in your day to think through your business, it would help you to get further. But the only way you can buy that time back is working with others and allowing other people to utilize their gifts, their skills, and their talents to move your business forward. So I don't know, this is some great stuff. We have the website here that you guys can check out. So go on BHAMBizHub.com. We're gonna drop a Blacklisted's website in there. And today, I want you to flood those websites with finding collaborators, guys. It is the time to do it. All right. We have another thing here from, let me see, we got a comment here that I want to address. It's not necessarily a question, but it says, sending clients to my colleagues has done wonders for my relationship. So that's another thing, referring people when they do good work. So I just want to thank you guys so much. I'm going to see if we have any other comments, and if not, I'm going to let you guys wrap it up. Emily, Elijah, Virginia, Carrie, with any last things you have, because I want to make sure that people are able to walk away with some tangible information. So if you could just give us 1 to 2 things that people can tangibly walk away with today to start collaborating. And we'll start with you, Emily.
I'm just going to repeat what Noble Evans has here. Be a go-giver. I love that. So a play on go-getter says that this is the best methodology of creating positive environment for collaboration is give what you seek from others. And that sounds really fundamental, but I think that's really great advice as we all move forward and try to put some of these things into action.
Awesome. Thank you, Noble. Okay, Elijah, what do you have? What 1 or 2 tangible things that you can get people to walk away to start collaborating today?
I think the best thing you can do is internally understand where you need help and where you believe you need collaboration, and then figure out an internal plan. As I see Ms. Youngblood, shout out to Urban Impact, being very clear and specific. I think once you've mapped that out, then it really positions you to be a great collaborator. And the last thing I'll just say, on a global level, we're in the Birmingham Civil Rights District, and a beautiful legacy of collaboration. The challenges have changed, and many of the challenges are still present as it pertains to systemic issues, racist issues, financial issues, inclusion issues. But what I see is SELC, SNCC, Alabama Christian Movement of Human Rights, Green Acres, Magic City Barbershop, Kirby Insurance, Pool Funeral Home, Masonic Temple, Prince Hall, Eastern Stars, and on and on. And these beautiful stories that we're exposed to help to encourage me that if we collaborate and come around a common vision, we will be Birmingham. It will be better. So thank you.
Awesome. All right, Virginia. What's your 1 or 2 tangible takeaways?
You're going to make me go after those 2.
Yes.
No, obviously echo everything that my colleagues on the call have said. But I think that, there was something in the chat about being genuine. I think that's huge. I think communication is huge. I think research is important. And utilize the resources that are around you. And just, I think if everybody who's listening today walks away knowing that they're not in this alone, that's the best piece of advice that I can offer at this point.
Thank you. All right, Carrie, what you got for us?
I would say do your research and get out there. Just after you do your research, if you feel like this is the best person for you to collaborate with, reach out to them. Don't be afraid of it. I mean, a lot of businesses are looking to help you along the way. So just go.
Awesome. I think that's a great wrap up. So make sure we're genuine. Let's be goal givers. Let's not be afraid to be the first person to make contact, right? So send the email, make the call, send the text message, go to the office and begin to collaborate. It's important for us to move forward. We have a lot of great things in play. So today, I'm just so happy that you all were introduced if you already didn't know about Birmingham Biz Hub and about Blacklisted. So make sure you all check out those websites, get on there, collaborate. And so this was day 2, all right? Day 1 was popping. Day 2 is popping. So tomorrow is day 3. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to pitch your business, the importance of your brand story and tying that into customer loyalty. Because the more people know about you, your brand, the more prone they are to connect with what you have going on. And so we're going to dig into that tomorrow. So please join us again tomorrow at 12 p.m. We're going to dig into how to pitch your business, how to share your story, and how that ties you into customers. I want to thank Emily, Virginia, Elijah, and Carrie today for sharing with us on collaboration. I believe that this is great. I think that some tangible things were shared today because we are not about talking at you. We're about talking with you. And that's what Small Business Week is all about. So thank you all. We appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 3 of Small Business Week. Thank you all so much.